what's blooming in my garden in September. I'm going to try to film this. Hopefully there won't be a lot of cars that go by, because that will make this harder to hear. Alright, we'll start with this front garden here. And also I should say, what kind of interest is there in the garden in September? Because some things, like my sister Jill said in her video about the garden, is things of interest, not necessarily blooms. But here you can see this stone crop just going crazy. It's beautiful. There's a little bee. And then there is some stock that I planted from seed that is growing. There's a little bit of yarrow left over down there. We got liriope there. And as my sister Jill also said, the marigolds have just gone crazy. If I back up, you can see how big that thing is. It's taken over the walk. And there's also portulaca. Then we have the fennel that is great, even if it's just the seed heads. They're really pretty and good for bouquets and all kinds of things. Also, some interest would be these allium seed heads. Even though they're not blooming anymore, they're still really cool looking, and I think I'm going to leave them throughout the winter, because I think when the snow sits on them, it'll be really pretty. And I have a pretty pink rose blooming here. It's prettier in person. My camera's not doing it justice. And then I even have some phlox that's still blooming. There's some. Here, this white flower is called 4 o'clocks, and it's getting ready to burst open. They're so neat. They bloom at night, and they close up during the day. So I have those there. And then I have celosia there. Yellow and red. Zinnias, of course, always give you lots of color. These are down here, two different colors of salvia, a perennial salvia. Over across the path we have red sweet williams, yellow calendulas, and we have the blue salvia, the annual salvia, white butterfly bush, even some snapdragons there, still blooming. And this little blue flower here, I don't know what this is, but it is the coolest thing. Looks like forget-me-nots. And it has lots of seed heads, so I'm excited for that to bloom, or plant itself again for next year. Here's purple verbena. That's an annual, but I took cuttings of it, and it's rooted already. That's great. Over here we have some cosmos. We have the tall cleomes. They're annuals also. I have a white sweet william there blooming still. Another rose. This is from my sister Jill. I think it's a double knockout rose. She gave me 2 of those. That's nice. Truck noises. Here we have gomphrena. That is doing wonderful, and they're great for a dried flower. They're sort of like a straw flower. Blooming away. More snapdragons, red and yellow, and black-eyed Susans. And in here, this is another kind of salvia that is an annual, but I took cuttings of it, and I'm going to make a video soon on whether or not they're rooting. Here's more salvia. Different kind, but also an annual. Here is a little yellow rose, still kind of blooming. Another sweet william, portulaca. Oh, and my My lavender. My lavender is just happy as can be. It's just blooming away. I want to pick some of those and dry them before the season's over. And I have more out there, more lavenders going crazy. Here's another Gumfrina, a different color, blooming. Here's that other knockout rose. And these aren't blooming, but these coleus are so bright and gorgeous that they almost look like they could be blooming, how bright they are. And over here, I basically have the same things planted on either side of the main walkway, over there and over here. In this middle section, it's all the same type of stuff. So there's the white butterfly bush, the blue annual salvia, and this is a coreopsis that is still hanging on. This is yet another kind of salvia, a red salvia. I should probably take cuttings of that because that's pretty awesome. Back here we have goldenrod. That's really pretty. Nice and bright in the garden. And I have another pink rose blooming here. So we'll go to the back garden, to the secret garden, and we'll see what's blooming back there. Okay, so here I'm on my way to the back garden, and this rose was here when we moved here. It's just blooming, and it's got buds on it. Lots of buds. So that's going to be blooming for a while yet. Here's a daylily, still blooming, and then these, my grandma used to call these August lilies. It's a hosta. But these lilies smell amazing. And if you cut this and take it inside, all these little buds will bloom in a vase. They will get big like these and they will bloom in a vase. So that's pretty neat. Here's another hosta blooming. This is like a little fairy bell bloom. Oh, yeah. Prettier in person. And there you can see all the hostas blooming white, and they smell so wonderful. We'll walk back through here. I have a little begonia blooming there, and that one too, but it doesn't look so hot. I think it got too much water. Here we have more of the August lilies, or hostas. And beauty berries. They are gorgeous to put in a bouquet. I am going to move some, though, because you can see how they're just sprawling everywhere. But they're a nice, pretty color for this time of year. Adds color to the garden. Let's see. This purple flower over here, I don't know what that is. My sister Jill gave it to me, and it was given to her by a friend, and I never saw it before, and I have no idea what it is, but it's really pretty. And I have another phlox blooming, and this type of verbena, which I love. It gets really tall. These I planted later, so they're not huge, but they are really nice. I want to save some seeds from those. We have just a couple sunflowers still blooming. More stone crop there. Some more of this verbena. This area needs some serious help. I have to get back here and weed. More goldenrod. Even the catmint is still blooming. A little bit. And then I have a pretty sunflower bloom right there. It's kind of a rusty color. The butterfly bushes, of course, always blooming like crazy. We go over this way. Here's a little salvia that planted itself from seed, which I'm thrilled about. I love when plants do that. Oh, I have also over here a globe thistle that's blooming. Right there, the little blue globe type flowers there in the middle. More goldenrod here. And then over here, I think this is called obedient plant. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But it just is gorgeous coming up through this snowball bush. And I have a couple of little zinnias over here. Not many, but they're blooming there. And then a peacock orchid blooming. One is getting full of storage, so we'll see how long we can go here. This is a coreopsis, and it is tall. And it's a wonderful plant. Just keeps blooming and blooming, and it gives a little bit of shade to this bench in the afternoon. We also have ironweed blooming in here. That's a nice fall bloomer. We have some more cosmos over here and over there, and we also have the butterfly bush in the background. And behind that we have some more of the annual salvias. And in the morning glories that are growing up there bloom. So a few black-eyed Susans back in there. And here's some interest that isn't necessarily a bloom. It's these castor bean plants. They have the coolest seed pods. We'll go over there and look at those. We have this white yarrow blooming and some portulacas in there too on the pathway. Excuse the mess over here. Work in progress. Here's more fennel blooming. But if you look at these seed heads, they're really cool. They remind me of truffula trees from the Lorax, Dr. Seuss. So they're pretty fun. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have blooming in my gardens in September.